Okay, so once again, good morning and welcome to another session. And this is our session 8 of business research. And we have started in last class, unit 2. And most probably, in next class, we will complete unit 2. So I hope you remember we talked about exploratory research in the last class, last session. And the beauty of exploratory research is that you're gonna define a particular phenomena. You are going to tell people that this is a kind of discovery. It's a something which people have had a weird or vague idea, but I explore it and now I can tell you what is this all phenomena, why people, what kind of people, how they behave, what are the different meanings for different ideas or different phenomena in a society, in a community. So here you explore a lot of things. So what kind of methods, what kind of techniques we have for exploratory research, that we already have discussed. What you need to do when you want to know about a particular phenomena, you talk to expert and you discuss with them that could you put some light on this particular phenomena and please describe what is this all about. And there may be a study where on the basis of one person case study, you can define that particular phenomena. You can define that particular logic. You can define that particular process. So that is the exploratory research. And unfortunately, in India, you will see very few people, they actually go for exploratory research because it's very hard to justify that on the basis of one case study you can generalize the term. On the basis of few comments you can describe or define a particular phenomena. Now acceptability of this kind of research is very difficult, and the community, the society, the phenomena you have been described, it could be very highly subjective. So in general, when we talk about a research, it should be very objective in the sense that whatever proposal, whatever proposition you have defined, whatever variable you have defined, whatever construct you have defined, other people in other community, other people in other society, other people in other country can replicate the same kind of research and then can describe that yes, similar kind of events, similar kind of practices they have in their own culture, they have in their own community or in their own country. So this is a very difficult kind of research, very difficult, because here you propose something which is still untapped, which is still unexplored. So but it's really very interesting because you're going to tell something which people are not aware of, or you're going to make clear things that these things were weird, these things were not so clear. So you make clear that this is this and this is the right process, this is the way through which we can see, we can describe, we can define a particular phenomena. So I hope exploratory is clear to all of you. Today, we're gonna put some light on descriptive. So once you have gone through exploratory, you have defined a particular phenomena, what you need to do after exploratory research, you need to describe each and every element, each and every content, uh, each and every physical, parts of that particular phenomena, or maybe sometime not only a physical but a kind of relationship which describe that particular phenomena you can talk about. So for example, in descriptive, we understand the concept of, for example, let us talk about a construct called beauty. Now beauty may be different for different individual. If you just want to describe the term beauty, for me beauty would be external beauty, beauty may be internal beauty, beauty may be something that what message is it gonna convey, that could be also a beauty, right? Beauty in a particular picture, beauty in a behavior, beauty in a physical presence. So beauty, what you are talking about, a beauty, which beauty you are talking about. So here if you explore that, I'm exploring a beauty which is linked with the spirituality, maybe beauty, maybe the way you talk, the way you walk, the way you discuss the matter. It's so beautiful that the way you describe the things, it's so awesome. Or beauty may be a natural beauty. So which beauty you are talking about? So here we are exploring that we are talking about beauty in terms of human behavior, right? A human behavior would be beautiful if a human being is honest, and he or she always speak truth, right? Always care about others. So this is what it's a beauty of life of an individual, that a person is living a beautiful life in the sense he or she is honest, truth, right? People can trust, and he or she is very, very caring about others. So what is the way through which you can describe what is the content of beauty, and which phenomena, which domain you are describing with the help of beauty? So here, if we talk about a beauty, beauty may be a particular scenery. Particular scenery may be scenery of a particular hilly area. So when you see a particular hilly area, you need to describe that, okay, these kind of trees you have, this kind of hill shapes you have, this kind of waterfall you have. So these many tree, these many waterfall, these many, other things, small hut or maybe some animal over there. So here you are describing that beauty, that why this is so beautiful. So maybe in that picture that sun is rising, right? And birds are there, sky, clouds they will show. So this is what, when each and every element of that particular phenomena, each and every element, in our case a beauty of a particular hill station. So here hill station, you're going to describe that hill station having this kind of feature, that it has got this kind of tree height is quite good, and these trees are 100-year-old, maybe. What kind of leaf they have? If you come to Nainital side, you will see the leaf, especially the Corbett Park, the leaf of the trees are quite big. If you move towards upper area, Ranikhet side, you will see a canonical and very sharp kind of leaf. So why, I mean, when you move from one train to another train, one area to another area, the description of a beauty, description of hilly area, description of local places would be different. So here we are going to describe the type of trees, waterfall, the terrain or the hills, mountains, maybe a snowfall or maybe something like that. So that is what a descriptive. So you are describing what a beauty. So beauty is what? Beauty may be may have different connotation for different domain. As domain could be, you talk about a beauty of a person. A person is a very nice, truth. He always speak truth, honest. So these are the different ingredients of a personality of a person which really define the beauty. On the other hand, as I mentioned, the domain could be the natural beauty at a hill station. So that you need to describe. Other example could be we'll talk about that, but let me see what other things we're going to discuss today. Next would be that you have explored something, you have described something, next what? So as a human being, we all are curious to know that are these things connected with each other, right? Or this is by chance these things are together at one place. So if, as I mentioned, that beauty, beauty may be a inner beauty, outer beauty, one example I have quoted. So when we describe a person, let me see your response. For you, what is important? uh, Inner beauty or the outer beauty? I mean, I'm not talking about the first impression. I'm talking in long term. If you want to hire a person, which beauty you are looking for? Will it be a inner beauty or a outer beauty? Let me see your reflection, everybody. So we already have discussed exploratory, then we describe something with the descriptive. Next, in explanatory, what happens that as a human being we all always remain curious to understand that are these things here by chance, or it's a coincidence, or this is because this is the trend, this is because this has been the trend in the past, so that's why it is like this. For example, I ask a question, inner beauty or external beauty. So if you see in our culture, uh, the reply would be, as I have seen, it's an inner beauty, right? So here what we need to do, that we need to explain, we need to make a research. This answer you have given me 90-95% cases, if I make a survey, answer would remain same, that it would be a inner beauty for all of us. Is it because of our culture you are saying inner beauty? Or is it because of education you are saying that it's an inner beauty which is important for all of us? Um, but there may be a case where a particular community, for a particular community, inner beauty would not be so important. What would be important for them? The outer beauty, right? External features. So here what we need to do, we need to explain this, that why people are replying in such a manner, why they have this kind of feeling, why they have this kind of understanding. Is it by chance, or this is because of different variables? One variable could be education, the other variable could be past practices, the other variable could be, you can find out some other variable also, that this is because of culture also of a particular community, particular society, particular state, or a particular community. Right, everybody? So here we'll see the answer you have given as far as inner beauty is concerned. So our role as a researcher, if we go for explanatory, we will explain what is this inner beauty. Now inner beauty, you say that for you inner beauty is important, but what is this inner beauty? So someone would have explored, someone else would have described it, that this is inner beauty. So inner beauty may be in terms of, as I mentioned, honest, truth, right? So there may be different elements of defining inner beauty. So on the one side, one variable is inner beauty, the second variable is education. So if you have good education, higher education, right, you will have more values, and that values will reflect on that which kind of beauty you are looking for, inner beauty or external beauty, right, everybody? So let me ask you one question. So if we want to see a relationship between education and uh, the second variable is beauty, that is inner beauty and outer beauty. So what is your opinion? Would you see that higher educated people will have more, you know, more value for inner beauty, right? And as far as low education people are concerned, what would be their reflection on? Will it be towards external beauty or internal beauty? So this is the main, things we're gonna cover today. We already have discussed exploratory. Today we will focus on descriptive, and then we will talk about explanatory research. So we start with, let me start from current slide. Okay, so we start with descriptive research. Descriptive research actually to gain accurate profile of an event, situations and persons. So I'm in college today and I want to describe the college as such. So accurately, if you want to define a college, what comes in your mind? Uh, College means a particular place where you will have teacher and student, the basic, basic requirement of a college, that you will have teachers and students. Then third, you will describe that particular situation where this education would be taking care or taking transfer. So the education would be transferred where? Nowadays the online, but when we talk about college, it is a physical place where we have a classroom. So teacher, impart knowledge, impart education to student in the classroom. Right, everybody? And in the classroom, you are talking about person, so one teacher and these many student. What kind of classroom you have? In classroom, you have blackboard, you have desk where students sit, right? Teacher, we have teacher, and rooms are ventilated room. So this is what we are, giving you accurate profile of that particular college or that particular event or that particular situation. So situation may be that you want to know that, okay, what happens on Independence Day? So this is a one particular situation. What happens every year when we think of Independence Day or Republic Day, right? And how many people, how many person, what kind of role they perform? Or okay, let us talk about a particular match, particular game, right? So we are defining an event, we are actually describing an event, that okay, we have football ground, these many players are there, this kind of things are there. So you describe that you accurately give a profile of the things, what these things are prevailing there. So very simple research, but it's not an easy thing, because sometimes you don't know what is this all about. So you need to find out the names of different parts of that particular event or a situation, and tell that okay, these many things are there and the name of things are this, and then if you want, you can describe those things in a such a manner that teacher and student have this kind of trust or relationship. So let us dig more and find out answer to research questions when we think of descriptive research. How, when, where, what and who. So how many things are there? Where, when did it happen? What is this? And who these people are. So survey like census. In census we actually describe when you come to village, uh, how many people, how many member you have in your family, male, female, their income, their age, their education level, what kind of house you have, kacha house or pakka house, do you have electricity connection, do you have water connection, right? And not only this, how many livestock you have, right? If you have buffalo, how many buffalo, how many cow. So all these things would be counted. Not only this, that what kind of house you have, kacha house, pakka house. Um, Beside that, do you have water connection? If water connection is not there, how far you go to collect water? What about electricity? Do you have electricity connection at your home? And education, how many people are, and how many people live in a village, and how many family member they go out for work to earn money. So this is what actually you're describing everything, that okay, this kind of land you have, this what kind of crop you have in your agriculture land. So you're describing everything, that this kind of crop we yield, this kind of education we have in our family, this kind of earning we have in our family. So survey like census, and even they talk about gender, and more than a gender, they talk about caste also, religion also. So that up to that minute information they gave, they describe that, okay, if we have this particular village, and you wouldn't believe that, you remember we talk about a situation of a village. So in a village, what happens? They divide the. When you think of a village, village has been, because of Indian tradition, Indian culture, village has been divided into strata. Strata means two or three street would be for higher caste people. Then the other two or three lines or street would be occupied by middle caste. Then remaining area of a village will be possessed by the lower caste people. So that also we describe that you have pakka house, kacha house, right? What kind of people live nearby your home? So they belong to the upper caste. So you remember we discussed that stratified sampling, and I had given you example when these villagers comes to metropolitan city like Mumbai and Delhi, where when they live in apartments. So what happens in apartment? You don't know who is there next to you, who is there, on first floor or on the third floor if you are living on the second floor. So here you have a mixed population, and it's called heterogeneous. But in a village, what happens when you talk about a particular strata, the population is homogeneous. So that is very important when you conduct a survey, when you conduct a research, you need to decide who gonna be your respondent. Will they belong to a same caste, or you're looking for people, those who are from different background, different caste, and then they all will represent, they all would be representative in your research. So here, survey like census, which take place after every 10 years, may be a good example of descriptive information about the demographic profile of Indians. So here basically we gave a demographic profile of people or individuals, those who would be respondent to our research. So your research may be targeted to Delhi University students, Delhi University teacher, or maybe a bank customer, bank employees, or maybe as a customer who is using a services of a particular organization, or an organization who is serving customer and serving different kind of services. So here you need to decide, because whenever you design or develop a questionnaire, what you do, you collect this information also, which is basically a demographic profile. Now how and why we should use this for our research? The main purpose of this is we want to understand that on the basis of a gender, on the basis of a gender, is there any difference between the performance of, suppose we are conducting a research in an organization and we want to see the performance of employees. Now we want to see, is there any difference between the performance of male and female in a particular organization? So here what is important, you should have that demographic profile so that you can make a comparison that no, null hypothesis would be that there is no difference between the performance of male and female, right? But when you collect information from individual, it will help you to tell you that in reality that there may be or they may not be, I'm not sure about that. So here you are telling people that on the basis of a research, we can tell you that either there is no difference between male and female as far as their performance is concerned, or there is a difference in the performance of male and female in a particular organization. So male and female could be one. Second could be, suppose you collect information from different region, for example north, south, east, west, or maybe a Mumbai, Calcutta, Delhi, Chennai, something like that, different places, different metropolitan city, or maybe on the basis of, let us talk about a particular college. So if you target a particular college, what you need to see, the student, if they have all three stream, science, commerce and art, so here you have three now category. Maybe you can collect data from science student, then commerce students, or maybe then arts student. So here you can make a comparison that on the basis of their stream, on the basis of the subject they study or the degree they have been studying in a particular college, is there any difference as far as their marks are concerned, as far their learning is concerned, as far their intelligence level is concerned? So here intelligence would be defined in terms of what? A demographic profile. That would be what subject you study, what degree you study in a particular college. And then you can make a comparison in terms of education also, right? As we have mentioned that education and performance of an employee. If employees are highly educated, their performance would be high or low, right? If education of employees is low, then performance of employees would be low or high. So that kind of relationship you can predict with the help of descriptive. So descriptive is also very important. So here education is important, your demographic profile in terms of male and female is important, and many people they conduct a research on the basis of an income of a family. So either you belong to a higher income group, medium income group, or a lower income group. How these different group, how these different parameters of demographic profile giving result in terms of what you call satisfaction level of employees in an organization. So now you can see up to what extent this descriptive research is so important. So whenever you go and do some kind of research, what is important for you, you need to have this descriptive information, you need to have this descriptive data. Or if you conduct a research in a village, so you need to describe a village, that how many pakka house, how many kacha house you have, how many people, how many female, how many male you have in a village, and how many, what is the education level on an average. If you talk about people in a particular village, on an average the income of people in a particular village. So this all will reflect on a research called a descriptive research. And many times people collect secondary data. I mean, they take help from secondary data, and they use that data for descriptive research. Because you don't need to collect this data, you already have this data that okay, last year in 2011 we had a census, and from that we can collect some data, we can take some data and use for our research purpose. Now here you see the features. So one very important feature of descriptive research is that it describes the profile of the factors. So whatever variable, whatever factors you have taken for your research, it will describe and give you each and every element, each and every part of that factors. Second feature, determination of the status of given phenomena. This is very important. Sometimes you cannot put information in quantitative terms. As I mentioned, male or female, how many female, right? How many kacha house, how many pakka house, how many belong to upper income group, how many belong to medium income group, how many belong to lower income group. So there may be instances where you cannot quantify the terms. So in that case, here you see you need to reflect on the description of a particular phenomena. As I mentioned that you have one scene, one scenery which actually reflect on which is actually representing a particular hilly area. So here you describe that, or maybe a particular picture of an individual. So by seeing that picture, you can tell that this picture actually say these kind of things. So you need to reflect on that picture, that what is this picture all about and what that picture is reflecting on. So this is what status of a given phenomena. So given phenomena of a particular, just observe, For example, now someone asks you what happens in Delhi when you think of Deepavali. So you know the status of a Deepavali celebration in Delhi, and you know the celebration of Deepavali in villages, right? In Delhi, you will see a lot of rush, lot of market, lot of people going for buying and selling, lot of people visit their family and friends and give them gift. So this is what you are describing, a phenomena of a Deepavali. Now, same thing if we discuss in a village, will it be same in village? Let me see your reflection, everybody. So let us continue, and let me share where we were. Okay. So determination of the status of a given phenomena, that you need to determine, you need to explain. Then estimation of a population, that poses the characteristics. So as you need to find out those people, those who are highly educated, those who belong to upper class, so that you need to describe. And if you have some people in a village, sometime what happens when suppose you comes to Punjab and Haryana, what is your understanding? What is your perception about villages? Or on the other side, if you think of a villages in Bihar or Uttar Pradesh. So here, when you think of, so what you are doing? You are estimating something that in Punjab, a lot of people they go abroad for job. So it's very obvious that the income level of a farmer in a village in Punjab area, it would be bit high, right? So you are estimating this on the basis of the assets they have, the things they have, the profile they have. Okay, so you can estimate that, okay, if in a village income has grown up, income has doubled in last 5 year, 10 year, then they will be looking for what? They will be looking for higher education. They will be looking for their children should go to private school, right? So here you can estimate in this that, okay, this is not described in a census, but if you compare the last census 2010 11 and year 2001, then this kind of difference is there, and on the basis of that we can predict, we can estimate that this kind of changes has occurred. For example, just think of girls education in 1999, 2009, right, and now 2019. In last three census, just think of education of women, girls. Now you can estimate, if you see the percentage of education level of girls has gone up. Without any if and but, you will have this kind of understanding, right? Now, what is the pros and cons of this? So as far as pros are concerned, in general, we'll say that pros are more than the cons. What are the pros? The pros are this, that now they are self-independent, they are independent women, they are helping a hand, right? And they have been working in MNC, they have been working in different organization. So here, and they are the decision maker now. They are the decision maker now. So this is what, on the basis of one profile, you are estimating others also. So here you see discovery of association among different variables. So one variable education, other variable performance, one variable education, another variable per woman role in a family. So if education level of girls are high, what would be the performance, what would be the say of a woman in a family? It would be high, right? Because education, women become independent, and when you become independent, because you start earning, it gives you a confidence that you will have more more area where you will be able to take decision. The size, form, distribution or existence of a variable. What is the size of the variable? What is the form of the variable? What is the distribution and existence of a variable? So here actually you are describing a variable. Variable, for example, you remember we describe violence. Violence, physical violence, social violence, legal violence, financial violence, sexual violence. Right? So here we are describing the size, form, or the distribution of variable. And you remember that if you distribute a questionnaire which is linked with the sexual violence in India, people will not respond because it's a very very serious matter, and it's a matter of privacy. So people won't disclose any information about sexual violence. Cross tabulation, and what kind of research, what kind of techniques we can use? Very simple techniques, just cross tabulation when we have descriptive one, and just two variable, not more than that. Okay, and very simple hypothesis, univariate hypothesis, and we cannot go for higher kind of research here. And this basically build on exploratory. First you have to go for exploratory, then you can think of going for descriptive, because if exploratory is not there, it would be very difficult because you don't know what is this phenomena all about. Then you cannot think of a descriptive one, because descriptive, once you have defined, explore something, then you will be able to go for descriptive. Now, what kind of research methods we have in this descriptive research? First, survey. Collecting, like census we have discussed. So census is what? It's a kind of survey. Collecting information from a sample of individuals. In survey, generally we collect information from all. But here in social science research, except census, if you go for a private kind of research, or a project which has been sponsored by some government organization in India, they will not allow you to go for research where you need to collect information from the whole population, because whole population, if you go and collect data, the cost would be very high, and secondly it would be time consuming practice. So it would be good that instead of approaching each and every person, each and every respondent in a population, you go and collect data from a particular sample of that particular population. So collecting information from a sample of individuals through structured questionnaire. This information on questionnaire is collected through interview. So you have your questionnaire, take this questionnaire to the respondent and ask this to the person that I have this question, I need your reflection, I need your answer. So which may either face to face or over phone also. So generally we don't do it on phone, we do it on face to face. And now because of COVID-19 things have changed, you might have observed that instead of approaching people to have interview face to face, we request them to join us on Zoom or maybe on Google Meet or some other platform, MS Team, and we'll ask a question and then you need to respond. This is one way, right? Or you float your questionnaire on Facebook or maybe on WhatsApp or maybe on LinkedIn, and then request people that please give 5 to 10 minutes and fill out this questionnaire, and we ensure you that the purpose of this questionnaire would be academic, and we will not use this information for any commercial purpose. So this kind of consent you give, and a lot of people they give respond to your questionnaire. So this is emerging way through which we collect information, we collect data from respondent or individuals. And what happens with this information? This information help in describing and learning the changing pattern of the area of research. So changing pattern, like if you make a survey about using crackers, uh, who would be the respondent, who would be the actually user of crackers? So you might have noticed that children, they are very excited whenever they think of Deepavali. So they are excited because it's not only sweet they're gonna have, it's not chocolate or gift they're gonna have, but more than that, they would be having crackers. But now see this trend in last 5-10 years. Government have such kind of schemes, government have had such kind of advertisement. They persuaded, they motivated students not to use crackers, because if you use crackers you should ready to face the consequences of using crackers, that would be in terms of pollution. So now student, children, they all are very conscious, they all are very intelligent, and they, instead of going to use this cracker, they have stopped using cracker and they use some other way to have a lot of fun. So now this is what here we are describing in last 10 year, 5 year behavior of students, behavior of children when they think of Deepavali, instead of going for crackers or other things. So we need to get this in writing that this kind of pattern has emerged in past 5-10 years. This kind of things has emerged. Now just think of children because of COVID-19. What kind of pattern, what kind of things has emerged? The first pattern when you think of education, it's now online learning and teaching, right? Second pattern, that a lot of students they have a health issue because they are not able to come out from their home, and they are not able to go to sports playground. So it is really creating problems to their health. So this is what this is, you are representing that this kind of changes has been occurred in the pattern of a particular phenomena. So you are describing that changes. Second, beside collecting data in form of questionnaire, you observe the pattern. It involves recording of behavior pattern of the participant with their permission. So like uh, which phenomena you want to describe, which phenomena you want to record. So here you can record a phenomena that as I mentioned, that when you think of now players in a particular team, especially a particular game, you can observe the way they behave, that they react, they act when they play in a particular team as a member of a particular team. So you are observing here the way they behave, the way they act, the way they react. So, and you observe one more thing, that is the pattern. That pattern in last 2 year, 3 year, 1 year, whether this pattern has been changed or it remains same. So that is the beauty of a researcher. That is the beauty of social science research, business research, that we keep on watching the things which has changed in past few years. Why these things has changed, how these things has changed, is there any change or not? So that you keep on understanding that okay, these things has changed, or there is no change in this pattern, or there is no change in the behavior of individual. So that we observe. So second method is observation method. And the third in descriptive, as I mentioned, that case study could be one, and in-depth study of individual phenomena or a situation. So you are not supposed to collect information from 1,000, 100 or 2,200 people. One case study is sufficient sometime in exploratory and descriptive. And that should be a depth study of a particular area, particular village, or maybe a particular individual too. Okay. So a lot of people, they do a research on people, those who are very successful. So they want to understand their life challenges, what they did, what kind of issue, what kind of problem they have, and what made them so successful. So this is what, it's a one individual case study, or there may be a one phenomena, one situation case study, that this situation was this, maybe exception, like the in management also, management by exception. So in there may be a situation which is bit odd. If you go through a past practices, past pattern, it is not according to past pattern, that something has emerged. So that situation, that phenomena you need to describe with just one case study. You are not supposed to go through different case study. Like for example, one government in India, they stop they stop taking entrance exam, and the reason was one suicide case in that particular state. So because of just one suicide case, state government decided that no more entrance exam for, it was I believe medical entrance exam or some other exam. So you see, a lot of people do research on the individual, for example, those who ever try to commit suicide. That could be one. There could be a case study also, like for example, uh, when you think of a Vrindavan, a lot of temples, and in Vrindavan, when you think of a lot of temples, you offer a lot of flowers over there in different temples, right? I saw lotus and rose flowers over there, and a lot of people, they offer lotus and rose flowers in all different temples in Vrindavan. Now what to do with that flowers? So one organization, what they did, it's a great case study that how to recycle the flowers. So what they did, they selected few women in local community. These women are basically a widow, and these widow basically belong to not belong to that particular area, but they have a particular community in Vrindavan. So these women actually collect all this waste from temple and use it for special kind of what you call agarbatti or something like that. So now you have a natural resources, right? If you are not using for making or recycling and making some other product, it would be a waste. So whatever flowers comes from the temple, one organization collect all the flower, and these women, they with some method they use special kind of agarbatti. So this is what a natural agarbatti, natural flavor, natural smell, and the good thing is that we are recycling the flowers, which otherwise it would be a waste. So this would be a case study that okay, how we one particular community, which community is very poor, and these widow in that particular community, it has become a earning hand. And what they did, where do they sell this? So instead of selling at local places, now they have a website, and they are getting a lot of online order. So this is what describing a phenomena, that how a particular community, a particular society got job, and these women, those who were poor, and now they have start earning money, and now they have become famous because of this, that whatever waste flowers this temple they throw outside, instead they throw outside, they collect all the flowers and give them to this community, and they recycle it, and with some chemical, with some use process, they use it and sell in the market. So this is what one case study. So this is what we are describing, that these many women over there, this is the community, and this kind of flower they collect, this is the process. So everything you are describing, this is our research. So now let me go quickly, because we need to discuss explanatory also today. So purpose of the descriptive research is provide a detailed, highly accurate picture, locate new data that contradicts the past data. So if you have collected something new, it may be a contradiction to the existing information, existing data. So you need to tell that okay, this is something new. Create a set of category or classified types. So what you can do when you develop a collect data, you need to show pattern, and you make a category. Like you remember one category in a village, upper caste or upper income group. Then second category, medium caste or medium income, then the lower caste or lower income groups. And then clarify a sequence of steps or stages. So the beauty of this descriptive research is that from A to Z you will explain, describe everything and clarify sequence wise that these things has emerged in this such manner. Document a causal process or mechanism. Now what is important here, you can see before you go for advanced research, which is basic causal process or mechanism, you have some document, you have some proof. On the basis of that, you will go further. And then report on the background or context of a situation. So different domain, different context. Construct or concept remains same, but the context may be different. Right? Concept remains same, but the context would be different. So here you need to give this report, you need to tell that okay, this I am talking about this context, I am talking about this particular background. Right, everybody? So before I go for explanatory study, let us take 5-minute break and then we'll continue. Okay, everybody? Main object of explanatory research is to understand relationship between variables to study a situation or a problem. So we have particular community, we have particular society, we have particular organization, and in these organization, because each and every unit, maybe a society as a unit, organization as a unit, a particular community as a unit, will have their own dynamics. I hope you agree with me. In each and every organization, whether they are small, big, medium, each and every organization will have their own dynamics. Now we want to see whatever variables we have, is it applicable, the relationship between variables in this particular situation, in this particular organization, because this organization has its own dynamics, whether this variables relationship is same which is existing in other organization, or it's a different over here. So the main feature, let me go a bit fast now because we have a limited time. It's built on exploratory and descriptive study. So you already have exploratory and descriptive study. Now you can go further for explanatory. It's a high level study. It's advanced study. It's a high level study. So a lot of researcher like you, actually you go for this kind of study. And the beauty of this is that it explains why. Descriptive was not telling you, it was telling you why, when and how, right? And the first one, exploratory, was telling you what is this, and but here we have an answer for why this is so, and explain relation between variable. This is very important. Whatever variables you have, you may have education as I mentioned, and the performance of gender. So this kind of variable you can see and find out a relationship, and the most important cause and effect relationship is this change in price. This must change in price due to demand or due to some other variable. Now I hope this is clear to you, cause and effect relationship. What is the main cause in the change of petrol price? Is it the international price, or the local price, or some other variable which is existing in the environment? So what are these different causes which actually affect the price of petrol or diesel in India? The main objective of explanatory research is to identify cause, what are the causes and what kind of effect it generates. And here to collect evidence from cause-effect relationship, basically when you say that okay, these are different causes, these are different effects in a particular phenomena, in a particular community, in a particular society, in a particular organization, so that become evidence, and then you say that there would be some logic behind this. That's why this cause and effect relationship is existing or this is not existing. So here you may support or may disapprove a particular logic or theory which is behind, which is somewhere supporting behind the two variables, and it may help you to prove a relationship, or it may also help you to reject a relationship. And to manipulate one variable and measure effect on other. Manipulate doesn't mean that you misuse the information or you bring some wrong data and use for some other purpose. Manipulation over here means that manipulate one variable and measure the effect on, means that if one variable, for example, you just think of education. Education is a variable. Why variable? Because education may be a lower education, medium education, and higher education. So it vary person to person, that one person may have higher education, second may have lower education. So that means it's vary, it's manipulating. So when we increase or decrease in level the education, will it have impact on performance? So here you see one variable education, we measure it and see the effect on the performance of employees, right? So this is what a particular manipulation of a variable. Manipulation means increase or decrease of a variable. Offer replication, and here maybe your research is so good, the kind of way, the way you have use systematic way of data collection, systematic way of research design, systematic way of research methodology, systematic way of conducting a research you already have used. So that could be a replication, that could offer you that this is a case study which may become a thumb rule, which may become a principle, and a lot of people will follow that, and then you can replicate it. And method, the right method is, it's not only a cause effect, it's an experimentation. Experiment means you give some intervention. For example, I told you that I have been part of one organization nowadays as a student, and they had taken us blood sample, and after 6 months again they will collect blood sample, and there is a, within this 6 months there would be intervention of spiritual discussion, and then meditation, then what you call learning of religious books, beside that asana or yoga, right? So they are AIIMS have conducted this study, they are making this experiment that if we give this spirituality, religious knowledge, asana, yoga, meditation to individual, then will it really have some impact on? So this is what one intervention of yoga on individual, and that is experiment that before and after that 6 month program, the impact of that. So this would be intervention, this would be an experiment. The process of manipulating one or more variable and measuring their effect on other variable while controlling external variable is the called experiment. So here they are trying to control the level of disease, the level of health issue of an individual before they started the this program. So different people will have different health issue when they join this particular program. So they want to keep it constant, that everybody had similar kind, or maybe a variable each and every person they will consider while they are conducting this research. And now they are seeing that not only the cause effect, but this kind of experiment is also a part of research. A variable which is manipulated is called independent variable, and a variable whose behavior is measured after experiment is called dependent variable. So if petrol price, so petrol price is increase or decrease, this would be dependent on what? So price of a petrol is dependent variable, dependent on what? International supply, or maybe a politics, or maybe a exchange rate of a dollar. So different independent variables are there, manipulated variables are there, which will affect the price of dependent variable called petrol. The main concern of research is an experiment to control the extraneous variable. So there may be a lot of variable which actually affect your main research, as I mentioning giving intervention. Now here what would be the extraneous variable? For example, in my case, after 6 months they will collect again the blood and will test, and it's not on a blood sample, but there was a questionnaire also. which was linked with kind of anxiety, kind of issue you have, psychological issue you have. After 6 months, again they will check the psychological issue and psychological problem, and the bloods, on the basis of blood sample they will see that is there any change in the personality of an individual. But in this research there may be other lot of variables too which may impact this study, this research. The other could be like pollution level of Delhi, right, in 6 months, or maybe the season from summer to winter, that would be extraneous which you cannot control, right, but we need to control that. So pollution level, our food habit, right, a lot of people, because when you join this course they tell us that you need to go for satvik bhoj, yani satvik yani ki, simple food, okay, not very spicy, you should not eat a lot of sweet, very simple food, and there must be a timetable for your routine, whatever routine work you have. So if you don't follow that, that would be something which would play a very, very important role in that research. So explanatory research, whose primary purpose is to explain why events occur and to build, elaborate and extend or test theory also, test logic also. So the main purpose of the explanatory research is to test a theory, prediction or principle, elaborate and enrich a theory explanation, extend a theory to new issue or topics, support or refute an explanation or prediction, link issue or topic to general principles, determine which of several explanation is the best. So these are different purposes of explanatory research, and I believe if you would be interested in future for MPhil or taking government project, you would be conducting this kind of research, and these would be the main purpose of your research. So whatever we have discussed in last two classes, here we have a summary. We started with deductive research. The researcher started with the analysis of data and tries to find out general conclusion. That was the deductive. Right. Then we discussed inductive. Inductive refers to the approach of research where the research begin with general information related to particular problem and find out a specific solution. So we discuss deductive and inductive. Then we describe procedure and methods of data collection. We talk about today exploratory, in the last class, exploratory, descriptive and explanatory research. So this was the summary of our discussion in last 2 or 3 days classes, right? So thank you very much today for joining, and we'll continue next week, and I wish you all happy Diwali, good wishes, enjoy holiday and take care yourself and your family. Thank you very much everybody.